Hello there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. As you can probably tell, I'm in my office for a change. I'm not in the garage, I'm not out on a bike, certainly not camping in a field, all is well. It's been about 6 weeks since I last did one of these. Last time I was talking about the suspension that I was getting sorted on my Honda CRF300 Rally. The 6 weeks have flown by. It seems to have been quite busy, but I didn't really have enough to talk about in any one week, so I haven't really done one of these. Enough has happened now that I think I can give you a very brief update. It won't be long like the last suspension one. First up, the suspension for my CRF300 Rally. It's all back, it's all on the bike. I've been riding it around and it seems to have made a massive difference. It did take longer than expected. It was sent to Andreani in Italy for what I think was going to be a couple of weeks, or an Italian fortnight, which was getting on for 6 weeks by the time I got them back, which meant the bike was out of use for that time. I had plenty of other things to be getting on with, but it would have been nice to have been able to keep on riding while I had a bit of momentum. I got the forks back. They've made a really big difference to the bike. There will be a video to come at some point with exactly what I think. I've also got the Nitron R1 back from Brooks Suspension and installed that on the bike, which also made a fairly big difference. I do need to get out and get some proper videos done of exactly what it's like under different conditions. But for the use of the bike so far, it's just made a really big difference. I feel more confident riding it. It doesn't bounce as much. I haven't bottomed out. Even on road, it's a much more comfortable ride than it had been before. So more to come on that in the future. In addition to fitting the suspension, I've been busy in the garage. I've taken the bodywork off. I've tried one of those Moto X exhausts, which seems to be working okay. I also found another rack for the bike. So this one is an alloy rack from Yamamoto in Thailand. It's about half the weight of the H2C or Honda's rack because it's made of alloy rather than steel. That seems to be working quite well. I also found a bash guard for the bike. Now the Rally does come with the plastic bash guard from Honda that's part of the bodywork, but when I took mine off, I already had quite a few big gouges in it from rocks that I'd hit, so I'm trying to replace that with something metal. Will hopefully last a bit longer. It also makes it a lot more stable when I lift it up on the MX bike lift that I have. It fits really well with the Rally bodywork. The one thing that I wasn't sure about was how everything would actually go back together again, and if you've seen some of the pictures on my Instagram of how that fits, you can barely tell it's on there. I will have a video showing the refitting of the bodywork, which will be going up in the next few days for those of you that are going to try something similar. My bike's also been in for its first service. This was I think a month ago now, which was good to get it done and out of the way, so now I can open up the rev range, really use everything that's there for the bike. While it was in, I was hoping to ride a Honda CB500X. I did book one. Unfortunately, it wasn't available when I got there, so I had hoped to ride the 1100 Africa Twin. They also didn't have one of those, so instead I rode the 1000 Africa Twin. It's a bike I've ridden in the past and I've never really got on with. I've tried it in the UK on road tyres, and I've also tried it in the US on knobblies in the desert, and for me it just never really worked as an off-road bike, or really as an on-road bike. I know it's a lot cheaper than things like the GS, but it just seemed to be the same weight as a GS with much less power. I think they sold loads of them, so clearly they're doing something right. Maybe still trading on the old Africa Twin name. I would still like to try the 1100, so hopefully at some point I will get to do that. In addition to that, I've been away for a weekend. For those of you who saw my video from the ABR Festival, so this is the Adventure Bike Rider magazine festival that was held at Ragley Hall here in the UK. It's great to see things getting back to normal. There was about 4,000 people there all together camping. There was just loads of bikes, loads of trail rides. Quite a few of the vendors were there. There's live music, great food, great beer, and it's just great to see people together again. Everyone had to be tested before they went there, and after the first day or two where it was a bit unusual to be shaking hands with people again, I think everyone just had a great time. It's just a really, really fun weekend, and great to see that things are slowly getting back to normal. While I was there, I got to ride Harley Davidson's new Pan America on knobbly tyres on the off-road adventure trail, which was mostly fine. There was some slippery mud. There was a certain amount of satisfaction riding a Harley Davidson past a stricken 1200 GS adventure. But hey, if you're going to ride an off-road course on road tyres, then these things are going to happen. I also got to ride the Multistrada V4S, which was just a brilliant bike. We didn't get to take that on the adventure trail, so that was just around a grassy lap with a bit of a climb. Not the most exciting riding to be done, but just as an opportunity to see what that bike can do off-road was just really, really fun. I also got to ride the Yamaha Tracer 9 GT on-road, and that's just a really nice bike. It's nice and light. It seems like it'll do everything. The one thing that I'm still not sure about is that dash. It's got this split dash with two sides plus a nose in the middle, and every time I looked down I just felt like it was looking at me. I also got to ride the Royal Enfield Himalayan, so I know these have been around for a while. I've ridden the Interceptor, I've ridden the Bullet 500, both in India and in the UK, and the Bullets in particular, it is old technology. I loved it in India. I didn't really get on with it here in the UK. The Interceptor 650 I thought was just brilliant, and if I had space in the garage I would definitely have one. But to ride the Himalayan, it's just a great little bike. You know, you're not going to go fast on it, but just as something that gets you from A to B, and probably a lot further as well, just not very quickly. I think it's a really nice bike. There's lots of nice little touches on it. They seem to be quite well finished. It's a similar sort of price to the Honda CRF300 L. It's about £1,500 cheaper than the Rally. And while it doesn't have the same off-road capability, I think if you just wanted something really simple with a lower seat just to do some touring that had a little bit of off-road, then I think they're great. I mean, they've sold loads of them and I'm sure they will continue to do so. In a few weeks, I was supposed to be setting off on my postponed by a year tour to Romania with Magellan Motorcycle Tours. Unfortunately, Europe still isn't in a place where touring can go ahead. Unfortunately, the tour for this year has been pushed to 2022, so looking forward to doing that next year, but a little bit sad that I can't do it this year. I do have another tour with them coming up in October to Morocco. I'm kind of hopeful that can still go ahead, but a decision on that will be made in mid-August. We'll just see what the world is like from a COVID perspective and whether taking a ferry down to Spain, 3 days across Spain, 10 days in Morocco and then 3 days back is something that can go ahead. I'm slightly optimistic, but I've been disappointed before. Maybe I'll be disappointed again. As my July trip couldn't go ahead, instead I'm going to do something a little bit closer to home. I'm going to be doing a 10-day tour of Ireland with Magellan Motorcycle Tours in the first week in September. If you'd been hoping to travel to Europe this summer and haven't been able to, and you still want to get out on your bike, and maybe Ireland is a place you haven't really visited before, I'll put a link to the tour in the description for this video, and if it looks like it'll be interesting, then by all means come along. I think there's still a few places left on it, but it does seem to be filling up fast. If you've seen this and you are planning on booking, let me know. I've got a few guides codes which I can pass on, which will save you a bit of money on the cost of the trip. One of the bikes I was quite excited about seeing at the ABR Festival was the Harley Davidson Pan America. When I first saw the bike, I thought it was one of the ugliest things I've ever seen, but then as time has gone on, it has definitely grown on me. The engine itself is a really big step for Harley Davidson. You know, having variable valve timing and hydraulic valve openers, it really is a step forward from anything they've done before. What I did find from riding off-road was that I couldn't quite get comfortable with the riding position. The bars were a little bit too low for me, and comparing it to my GS, it just didn't really cut it. After that, I felt a little bit bad for feeling like that because BMW have been doing this for 40 years. So they've had time to really tune the GS and make it what it is today, and they've been very successful with it. This is Harley Davidson's first go at an adventure bike. So keeping that in mind and the fact that it's cheaper than the GS, there's definitely something more there. So today I've been off at Harley World in Chesterfield and I've taken their Pan America out for a road ride. So I really got to stretch its legs, you know, completely different experience to riding it off-road. I actually had a really good time. So the video for that will be coming up soon. I'm still not sure if I'm quite ready to buy one, but it really is an excellent bike. If you can get past the looks, if you're even curious, you should go and test ride one because they really are a lot of fun. So that's nearly it. Just the last few things to add is I've got some videos coming up in the next few days. So I think I've already mentioned the new rack that I put on the bike. Also the Harley Davidson off-road and on-road videos will be coming up. The bodywork refitting will go up later this week. And I also plan to do a noise test for the Moto X exhaust, assuming I get a dry enough day with enough daylight where I can actually just get out and do it. If there's any other videos you're looking to see or other things you'd like me to try, please drop me a note in the community or add a comment on one of the videos. I do try and reply to everything, even the mean comments, even though they do make me laugh most of the time. So yeah, looking forward to the world opening up a little bit more. Maybe we'll be able to get abroad, do a few more longer trips. And yeah, ride safe and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.